In her book, Private Government: How Employers Rule Our Lives, Elizabeth Anderson argues that employment relationships are characterized by a form of private government, where employers exercise extensive control over their employees' lives. This control extends beyond the workplace and into employees' personal lives, shaping their identities, relationships, and life choices. Anderson draws on historical and contemporary examples to illustrate the pervasiveness of private government in the workplace and its far-reaching consequences for society. Anderson begins by defining private government as the systematic control of people's lives by non-state actors, specifically employers. She contrasts this with public government, which is exercised by elected officials and is subject to democratic accountability. Private government, on the other hand, operates in the shadows, often without public scrutiny or oversight. One of the key features of private government, according to Anderson, is the hierarchical power structure it imposes on employees. Employers have the authority to hire, fire, promote, demote, and discipline workers, as well as to set their wages, hours, and working conditions. This power is often accompanied by a range of tools designed to enforce compliance, such as surveillance, performance evaluations, and disciplinary procedures. Anderson traces the roots of private government to the rise of the factory system in the early 19th century. As manufacturing processes became more complex and specialized, employers found it necessary to exercise greater control over their workforces. This led to the development of new forms of management, such as Taylorism and Fordism, which sought to optimize productivity by standardizing tasks, breaking them down into smaller components, and enforcing strict rules of behavior. The rise of private government was further facilitated by legal and institutional changes, such as the abolition of slavery and the development of labor laws. While these reforms aimed to protect workers' rights, they also created a new class of wage laborers who were legally dependent on their employers for their livelihoods. This dependency, combined with a lack of collective bargaining power, left workers vulnerable to the whims of their employers. Anderson argues that private government has had profound consequences for American society. It has shaped the nature of work itself, encouraging a culture of conformity and discouraging initiative and creativity. It has also contributed to the erosion of traditional communities and family structures, as workers are forced to relocate for employment and are often unable to maintain stable family lives. Moreover, private government has had a significant impact on social mobility and equality. Because employers exercise such extensive control over their employees' lives, those who are disadvantaged in the labor market are also disadvantaged in other areas of life. This can perpetuate cycles of poverty and inequality, as individuals born into disadvantaged circumstances are often unable to escape them. One of the most insidious aspects of private government, according to Anderson, is its tendency to shape employees' identities and self-perceptions. Workers who are subjected to constant surveillance and evaluation may begin to internalize their employer's values and expectations, viewing themselves as failures or as worthy of punishment when they fall short. This can lead to a sense of powerlessness and alienation, as workers lose touch with their own desires and aspirations. To address the problems associated with private government, Anderson advocates for a variety of reforms. These include strengthening labor laws to protect workers' rights, promoting collective bargaining and unionization, and encouraging the development of alternative forms of employment, such as worker-owned cooperatives and self-employment. She also calls for greater public awareness of the extent and consequences of private government, arguing that democratic accountability is essential to ensuring that employers' power is exercised responsibly and in the best interests of society as a whole. In conclusion, private government: How Employers Rule Our Lives is a powerful and thought-provoking examination of the pervasive influence of private government in the workplace. Elizabeth Anderson expertly illustrates the ways in which employers exercise control over their employees' lives and the far-reaching consequences this has for society. By drawing attention to the problems associated with private government and advocating for reform, Anderson provides a roadmap for creating a more just and equitable workplace environment that respects the dignity and autonomy of all workers.